Hi, this is Dr. Judy O, and with me today I have a friend of mine, Andrea. Hi, Andrea. How you doing?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
How was your day today?
Yes, not bad.
Not
A bit
bad?
wet now.
Bit wet, yeah. So, you want to talk about digestion?
Yeah.
Like heartburn?
Yeah, and what causes it and how we can cure it.
All right. One of the things that we want to talk about is the stomach. The stomach has to be a certain pH to be able to digest foods. Now, a lot of people with heartburn, they feel like they're having acid reflux and it's coming up into the throat and it feels like it's burning, and so they think it's too acidic.
Right.
And actually, right above the stomach is a valve that closes and opens. And when our stomach is actually acidic, and we're talking about a pH of 1 to 3.
Right.
Base is 7, and anything above 7 is actually alkaline. So the stomach has to be acidic, like I say, between 1 and 3. When that happens, the valve closes.
Okay.
So it keeps everything in the stomach.
Right.
And so when we eat protein, we need actually very close to 1 to break down that protein into what we call amino acids. So when our pH goes down to 1, we eat, drops into the stomach, that valve closes.
Okay.
Now, under stress, all the muscles around the stomach will be tense, and that stomach needs to move.
Right.
So if that stomach's not moving, it's got to mix everything together. All those enzymes in there has to mix together. So when we're tense, under stress, the muscle around the stomach isn't moving. So we're not going to digest our foods. Then all of a sudden, now the acidity changes. And then all of a sudden, that valve starts opening up.
I see.
So when we go more alkaline, it opens up, and then it comes up. Alkaline burns just as bad, if not worse, than acid.
Wow.
And with everybody wanting to be balanced with the acid alkaline, the stomach really has to be acidic. And it's very important, because if we don't have an acidic stomach, we're not digesting foods, which creates heartburn.
I see.
And specific protein. And when it drops into the duodenum, which is the next little section, it's about this big, and then that gets changed. The pH of that gets alkaline.
Okay.
And then from there into the small intestines. So if you're not digesting the proteins in the stomach, it's going into the duodenum and the small intestines, not properly digested.
Right.
So now we go into the large intestines, and it starts putrefying and then creating gas.
Okay.
And those little embarrassing little things that happen.
I got you.
So, it's very important to have a very, very acidic stomach to break down those proteins.
I suppose it's a balance between alkalines and acids. How would we do that?
Okay.
How is it? How's it accomplish that?
Yeah, to be able to make sure the body is alkaline is making sure you're getting the right nutrients. So it's not the pH of the stomach being alkaline, it's acid. Once we start digesting our foods properly, getting the nutrients, those nutrients is what helps balance the alkalinity in the body, creates the pH of the bloodstream. The bloodstream is very important for keeping things very healthy. And when that starting to become acid or alkaline, if it moves one way or the other, we're talking 7.3 to 7.35.
Right.
Very close. That's a small window that it needs to stay in.
Right.
If it moves out of that range, you actually die. So the body has to keep it in that range. So what it does is, if it starts going more alkaline, or we'll say acid, we need the calcium in that bloodstream. So if it can't get it from your foods, if you're not digesting it or not eating foods that have the calcium, it's going to get it from your bones.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. It doesn't mean it wants to give you osteoporosis. It wants to keep you alive.
Right.
Same with sodium. It's going to need sodium to keep it balanced too. And it doesn't mean it wants to give you gallstones, because that's where it's going to get its sodium,
Right.
is the gallbladder. It basically wants to keep you alive. So the nutrients is the most important thing,
Okay.
and where you get those nutrients.
And where we go?
Yeah. That's vegetables is our biggest sources of our vitamins and minerals. Now, digesting vegetables, first of all, as soon as we put it in our mouth. Okay, let's start from the beginning. When we sit down with a plate of food, okay, or preparing the food, that is when our digestion starts, because we're actually looking at that food. We're smelling the food, and the brain's going, ooh, that looks good, or that smells good. I need to get the body set up to receive this great flavor that I'm smelling.
Okay.
That's where we actually start. So then, as soon as it enters our mouth, we start chewing, get everything chewed up. Then we have saliva, and that's amylase. And amylase breaks down our carbohydrates.
Okay.
So when we eat our carrots or peas, corn, anything that has the carbohydrates, you want to make sure you chew it well.
Yes.
And get that all mixed up.
Okay.
And that's where it starts digesting. Okay.
I
Then
see.
it drops down into the stomach, and depending on what you're eating, this is what the pH has to be.
Okay.
You need to be relaxed. That's why a prayer before eating or meditating a little bit, give yourself a few moments, and then it relaxes everything. So when the food goes in the stomach, you're nice and relaxed.
I see.
And that's why, like Italians, when they have supper, it's usually about an hour, 2 hours. Same with France, it is a social thing. And
Yeah.
everybody's relaxed, talking. We don't have that anymore.
No, it's in front of the TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Not
stressful.
talking,
Mhm.
like we are. We're always so busy. So that stomach starts moving and start digesting the foods.
Okay.
The stomach acid, papain, and all the other enzymes in there. It starts breaking everything down. Then it goes into the duodenum,
Right.
which the bile comes from the gallbladder, or if you don't have a gallbladder, it comes from the liver. Of course, the liver is always producing it, so it's always going into the duodenum.
Right.
However, when you have the gallbladder removed, in about 5 years, the body will actually create a little pocket.
Oh my goodness.
That's how important the gallbladder is.
Wow.
It's just amazing. So that bile goes in there, degreases, and it starts breaking down the fats.
Okay.
That's where we break down our fats. And then, of course, the pancreas creates the enzymes, and that also helps with the alkalinity.
Okay.
Now, if we eat mostly cooked foods,
Right.
we need more enzymes.
Okay.
Our bodies will only make a certain amount of enzymes.
Right.
When you run out, you run out. So what happens?
So you take less enzymes to eat raw food?
Yeah.
Oh,
Raw foods take less because they
Right.
have the enzymes.
okay.
Cooked foods don't.
And what happens when you run out?
When we run out, the body knows it needs to digest foods, so it's going to take metabolic enzymes, the things that keep our heart beating properly, our thyroid producing hormones properly. It's going to take those enzymes and put it in our digestion system, which creates disease. Things
I
start
see.
breaking down.
Right.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Now we can reverse that
Oh, how do we do that?
by eating more raw foods,
Okay.
okay, especially vegetables. Chew them up good.
Mhm.
Eat those raw vegetables. Get those enzymes going. Less cooked foods.
Okay.
More green leafy vegetables. I mean lots of green leafy vegetables. Try to fit them in wherever you can. That gives you your potassium, all the good nutrients that the body needs.
That's good.
Calcium. Kale. Kale is one of those great superfoods.
Yeah.
I really don't like them raw. I know I have
hard to
friends
eat.
that love. Do you like kale?
I like kale, but it's tough raw.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, you can feel it doing you good when you're eating it. So
You like raw kale?
prefer it cooked.
Cooked? Me too. I love it juiced. Have you ever tried it juiced?
No, no.
Oh,
that sounds
next
good.
time try to juice it. Get the organic if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and try juicing it.
Okay.
Because the juice from kale, I love that. Mix it with some other things. Oh yeah,
Nice.
juiced kale, excellent.
Excellent.
So anyway, kale, calcium, magnesium, potassium, all kinds of good nutrients.
Okay.
Spinach. Oh,
Is it okay to take those as supplements, or like the calcium, the magnesium?
well, there's a situation when it comes. I'm glad you brought that up. Supplementation is important, especially if you cannot get organic, good, healthy foods, because you do need those supplements if you can't get it. Now, where you want to get it is through live foods
Okay.
or dried foods. So if you're looking for a supplement, like, say, a superfood like Dr. Schultz's superfood,
Mhm.
there's dulse and spinach and all the good live foods that's in there. It's powdered and it's dried, but it's still live.
Good.
It's been dried under very low temperature. So 2 tablespoons of that a day is great.
Excellent.
Now, if you pick up calcium off the shelf, because that's the biggest thing, calcium for bones, especially women getting to that kind of age.
Mhm.
If you look at the bottle, it's calcium carbonate.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah. That comes from, like, limestone.
Okay.
So you might as well go out to your driveway, pick up a limestone, and chew on it.
Okay, so not much calcium in it. Okay.
There's calcium. It's calcium carbonate, but the
Right.
body can't break that down.
I see.
However, if you give limestone to plants,
They love it.
oh, they love it. They break it down, and the photosynthesis changes that calcium to the calcium that we can digest.
Oh, wow.
That's why
Okay.
we can eat the plants and get that calcium.
Brilliant.
Now, there is calcium citrate on the market, which is a lot better. However, not everybody can break that down and simulate it, because you have to have the proper other nutrients that play well with calcium.
Okay.
Yeah, when it comes to the vitamins and minerals, some play well together and some don't play well together at all. Just
Right.
like kids.
Yeah.
What do you do with them?
Keep an eye on them.
Mhm.
Which is that what we should do? Should we test our pH?
Yeah, pH is important to keep an eye on every once in a while. You just don't want to get too worked up about
Okay.
it. Best thing to do is get up in the morning, eat your breakfast. At 9 o'clock, stop eating, drink just plain water. At 11 o'clock, test your pH.
Okay.
And this is going to fly against a lot of what people have been hearing. At that particular time, your pH should be between 6.4 and 6.6 or 6.8, that area. Because
Right.
at that time, you're assimilating iodine.
Okay.
Iodine is a nutrient that has to have that acidic to be assimilated.
Wow.
Yeah, as well. When I first learned that, I was like,
Yeah.
holy cow, I did not realize that pH had anything to do with
No.
digesting minerals.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. That class, my jaw hit the... a lot of those classes that I took was just amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder a lot about the modern diet. A lot of processed foods, sugar, pop, things like that. I mean, that is acid. Is that the wrong kind of acid, or is that can that be?
Well, it's not just the acid, it's all the other stuff that's in it. And the carbonation, if it's fermented, that's a different story. But the carbonation changes things too.
Right.
Then there's a lot of phosphorus in sodas. And phosphorus, you have to be careful with the calcium, because if you get too much phosphorus, like years ago, I would drink a 6-pack very easily of Diet Pepsi. Oh my God. A day, I would
Wow.
go through pop like crazy. That phosphorus stopped my ability to assimilate the calcium.
Gosh.
Yeah, it took me way out of balance.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course, weighing 350 pounds and drinking Diet Pepsi, I'm trying to lose weight.
Oh.
But, yeah, never really knew the connection of the diet what they were putting in the Diet Pepsi that creates your hunger.
Gosh.
And then my stuttering.
Of course, yeah. Gosh. So the foods we eat are really important.
Very important. Until I started working with people and nutrition and doing hair analysis, actually seeing what foods can do. Foods can either destroy your health or build your health. Mm-hmm. It depends on what you eat.
Wow.
Or what you digest.
Yes.
One of the things I was talking about, the enzymes, from metabolic enzymes that we take from our body.
Oh, yes.
To start, we can replenish those.
Oh, good.
It's called enzyme therapy.
I've not heard of that.
Yeah. You take enzymes between meals on an empty stomach. It'll go through your system looking for things to digest. And it'll go through, like the protease, will go through your bloodstream and clean up any proteins that are in there floating around.
Wow.
Yeah. All those enzymes will go through and eat up anything. And once it eats up everything, and if there's any enzymes left, then it'll start replacing the metabolic enzymes. That blew my mind when I heard about that.
Yeah, that's really good to know.
Yeah, I just didn't understand that until, it was explained to me and how it works. But that apple that you ate, you bite into it, and once you break those cells, those enzymes get released. And then it starts helping to digest the apple.
Great.
Apple falls from the tree, hits the ground, starts turning brown, you leave it there, it starts breaking down, and then it goes into the ground as compost. Wow. It digests itself.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Oh, I know there's some foods, going back to the acids and alkalines, which I thought were acids, like lemons, but they turn to alkalines, I've heard, in your body. Is that happen with a lot of things, or is it?
Mostly, well, with the lemon, lemon is, even though it's acidic, if you take a pH strip and check a lemon, it's very acidic. But when it goes through the process of being digested, the ash of it changes to alkaline. So putting lemon in the water is very, very good. You get up in the morning, bring up temperature of the water a little bit, add some lemon. Great thing in the morning.
Super. That's
great.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And thanks for watching and listening. This is Dr. Judy O. Have a happy, healthy, and successful week.